Perfectionist, this one's for you. I'm going to give you 3 self-compassion exercises that you can start practicing so you can stop letting your perfectionistic thoughts keep you stuck. All right, let's jump in. Exercise number 1, perfectionistic thought trap. So you're going to start by taking out a blank piece of paper and you're going to have 3 columns: trigger, thought, impact. You can go a lot deeper with this, but we're going to keep it very simple so you can just start practicing this exercise. So for 3 days, I want you to start tracking things that trigger your perfectionistic thoughts. So you missed a deadline at work. What was the thought? I can't believe I did that. What's wrong with me? I'm so stupid. And what was the impact? Impact, you can go very broad or very small. So usually when I'm working with someone, impact, I want them to think about emotionally, how did they make them feel? Shame, anxiety, physically what showed up, like, okay, I felt tension in my body, or I just noticed I had a headache, or my mind was just going really fast. Impact can also be what you actually did. I shut down, I avoided my boss, whatever it is. Like, I just want you to start tracking these things. And then at the end of the day, I want you to just review kind of what showed up that day. And then I want you to think about, are these thoughts, are they helping me or are they holding me back? So really think about not so much on the trigger, but focus on like, what is the impact when you get really wrapped up in these thoughts? Because when you're a perfectionist, you don't really realize how often these perfectionistic thoughts really get activated. And then the fact that they get activated, it is what it is, but the fact that you just blindly listen to them. So when they show up and you unconsciously don't even realize they show up and you just kind of listen to what they're saying, or you get kind of stuck in those thought spirals, and then it impacts you maybe more than it needs to. And when I say impact, I'm not saying that, you're going to have this thing and these thoughts, they might still show up and you're just going to feel happy-go-lucky. Of course, that's not the expectation, but maybe it takes that impact from all day I like beat myself up and I think about this mistake, I missed the deadline, I can't believe I did that, to like I have 20 or 30 minutes where I really get stuck here and I'm sitting here, or I just move through it and I acknowledge it, but I'm not like beating myself up. So again, this is a great practice to start to increase that noticing skill, that when we're changing anything, we really need to focus on that first. We need to notice when it's getting activated so that we can intentionally decide to do something different. So to recap, you're going to track for 3 days, review it each night, look at the thought. Is this thought helping me or holding me back? If it's holding you back, you're going to then try to really acknowledge when that thought is showing up in the moment and start to really treat it like a suggestion, background noise. Just put it to the back and you don't even have to engage with it. It's going to keep coming to your forefront of attention, but you're just going to really acknowledge it's not helpful for me to listen to it and keep focusing on what you're doing. Yes, to let me know that you're going to try out this exercise. I love that you're listening and watching, but I want you to take that into action, to type yes that you're committing to trying this out. The second exercise is self-compassion needs check-in. So this is a little bit different than a self-compassionate break, which I've gone through before, but this is really on focusing on what do you actually need and then doing it in the moment. So the first thing with this, I really took this concept from Claire Song, who is a researcher in acceptance commitment therapy, perfectionism. This is what she really studies. And I love this concept that she really says, one, really acknowledging that this isn't something that you have to earn. It's just something that you do. So instead of thinking about like, man, did I earn to brush my teeth today? You just do it. You don't question it, right? You just do it regardless of whether you earned it or not. And I want you to really think about self-compassion that way. So the first part is really to acknowledge this need, like when do you need it? So noticing like that pause and ability to say, okay, this is a moment where I'm noticing that I'm being really hard on myself. I'm noticing I'm having a difficult time, which is similar to Krista Neff's, like kind of that mindfulness, like just noticing when it's showing up. So when you're in this process of pausing and noticing that you're going through a hard moment or you need some self-compassion, thinking about like, what's going on? What am I feeling? But then also ask yourself, what is it that I need right now? But not just necessarily emotionally per se or self-talk, but more so translating that behaviorally. Like, what does that look like behaviorally? So for example, if let's just say I had a really hard day parenting, I felt overwhelmed, maybe I snapped at my kids and I'm noticing I'm feeling so drained and I'm also being really, really hard on myself and I can't let go about the fact that I snapped at my kid, and I pause and I think, okay, so I'm feeling shame, I'm being really hard on myself, but like, what do I actually need? Maybe I just need a moment for myself to catch my breath. Okay, behaviorally, what does that look like? I just need myself permission to like lock myself in the bathroom for 15 minutes and scroll endlessly. And this is the thing. And when I say this need, and that might not sound like self-compassion, and this is the other piece of really focusing on the intention of what you need might look different than like whether it's good or bad. And I don't want to judge it as good or bad, but I sometimes think about what's the intention, the function here of this behavior. And if it really is like you just need these 15 minutes to mindlessly scroll Instagram, great, then that's what you need. If that's not what you need, maybe that's more overwhelming. You just need 15 minutes to like put on some quiet music and sit in the bathroom, then that's what you need. I want you to focus less on what it looks like or how it should look like, and really curiously ask yourself, what do you actually need in this moment? Also acknowledging that this also might be really hard, especially when you struggle with perfectionism. You really tend to be hard on yourself when you make mistakes. You have these high expectations. And so when something goes wrong and you're trying to be kind to yourself, you also might just get really stuck again on that concept that I don't deserve it. And again, I want you to go back to that sense of like, this is just me brushing my teeth. And you actually honoring and giving yourself what you need is good practice, regardless of what those perfectionistic thoughts are telling you. You get to very intentionally do something else. Right. And again, if I think about this parenting example, you're kind of reparenting yourself in that moment as well. You're kind of choosing to take care of yourself, even in these really hard moments, just like what you probably want to do to your kids. Exercise 3, the self-compassion ladder. So this is a little bit of a longer one. I would encourage you to use this one for something that really gets you stuck. So this is more about the concept, like when you have a moment that you're really struggling with perfectionistic thoughts for whatever reason, something brought it on. Maybe it's something new. Maybe it's like some old stuff. Maybe it's a mix of both. But I really want you then to kind of create a quiet space for yourself. So then I want you to imagine that you're writing this letter from a perspective of a supportive friend or mentor to someone else. So think about like if this is your friend that was going through this same challenge and we're thinking the same things that you are, right? Because this is really important. Think about like someone you really dearly care about, someone that you want the best for them. And I want you to envision them and think about them struggling and having a hard time thinking these thoughts for whatever reason. And I want you to think about if you were to offer support or kindness or wisdom to them, what would you say in this letter to them? Acknowledging the situation, acknowledging how hard and difficult and what they're feeling, and that they're not alone, that you're there to be supportive for them. What would you say to them? So journal that out and really imagine and picture that. And then I want you, after you're done, after you've written that letter, to kind of really read that out loud to yourself. So in this moment of struggling, kind of really imagine integrating like someone is talking to you. And if it helps, you can also visualize someone that whoever you visualize that you care about. You can also kind of flip it around and visualize that person sharing those kind, loving words towards you, or visualize anyone who you can imagine being kind towards you. I'll do this exercise a lot with clients where I encourage them to borrow my eyes. So think about like what would be something that I would say to you if you're having this moment of difficulty, if they yet can't integrate that kind of self-talk or that self-kindness. Practice, you can really learn to shift the response to these perfectionistic thoughts. If this is something you really struggle with and you need some more one-on-one support, check out the link in my description below or my link tree to see how we can start working together. And like I always say, I encourage you to continue nurturing your mind, body, and soul, whatever this looks like for you. Thanks, guys.